Welcome to Redeemed Conversations, where we enlighten minds, encourage hearts, and empower growth through self awareness. Here we believe redeem means to restore value, worth, and purpose. Thank you for joining us. Let's get to the episode. Well, it's another great day at the Redeem Conversation spots. This is your boy, ARL. And we have been having some really great conversations. And let me just first say this. Thank you for everyone who has really been paying some really good attention and doing some reposting and likes and comments. I so appreciate y'all because, listen, we are here to do the work. And we just want to make sure that it's getting to somebody. We just want to make sure it's getting to somebody. So we have been talking about awareness and self-awareness. And listen, I won't lie to you. It's been a journey. I'm not talking from a place like I know and that I'm just all this perfectly aware and self-aware. No, this is something that we're all doing together. Because listen, it is an ongoing process. And you know how we love to start off the episode because I never come from a place of knowing and knowing everything. So I always like to let you know about me and what I got going on and where I be coming from. And listen, I realized something about myself. You know, that sometimes as you are growing in life, you realize that self-awareness is the thing that if you don't have it, you will be reminded that you don't have it. And one of the things that will often help you know that you need to be more aware is absolutely understanding what kind of parent you are, right? Now, you know, we've been going through awareness of friendships. Now, we're talking today about being self-aware as a parent. Next week, and I wanted to take some more time, which is why I wanted to do it next week, which is we're going to talk about the self-awareness in relationships. But today we're talking about parenting, right? And I got to say, you know, since being a dad, that's one of the things that I have consistently been challenged on is understanding what I am and who I am and where I am. I, at times, have been the parent that has set and tried to correct the unhealed things in me, and I tried to correct them in my kids. Now, how in the world do you do that? I would see things that I didn't necessarily like that my sons were doing, but then I'm like, you got to do better. And then I'm like, well, nigga, you ain't doing the better yourself. And then I'd be like, you know what? You right. And I think sometimes it's even allowed me to be even playful with my boys. You know, my son Jamari, he is budding on to 14, 15, and he's getting older. And he has a lot of my tendencies, you know, and that's normally comes with his mouth. He has a lot of there's jokes and all of them. So you notice there are things that they take on from you. But one of the things that I did not want was for them to ever deal with the things that I noticed about myself that were traumas that I did not get taken care of before I became a dad, you know? And I noticed a lot of times, a lot of my unhealed traumas, I would respond from before I actually have a logistical thought process. Now, this is what I am. This is where I am. My parents, you know, God rest my father, and my mom is still here with us. My parents had their ways. My parents did their things. And I realized that there were things that they did not work through. But so they still parented me, even though they did not work through that. But I did know that some of the main things that I had to do as a father is heal, because I realized some of the things they didn't heal from hurt me and bothered me. So, you know, in my heart, you know, just to kind of be transparent and completely, you know, vulnerable with you, I had to heal from, you know, losing my dad at an early age. My father died when I was 15, 13, 14, 15. Sorry, 14 or 15. And I was in a place to where, I knew I had to heal from that if I wanted to be a good dad, because I was always searching for a father figure. I was always searching to be a good father figure because I didn't really have the best one. So I wanted to be the good one for my little man. And when he came in my life, he was like, I need to know, and I wanted to be the best dad. And then Axel comes along, and then I know I gotta be a dad. And I was watching Father's Father, and some days I was inspired, and other days I was intimidated. I'm like, whew, I don't have the money that daddy has. I don't have the things that father has, and I didn't have the daddy that daddy had. And I was like, ooh, Lord. And I realized that there were just things that were coming up, and when they would come up, I didn't deal with them the best. Okay, so with not dealing with them the best, I would then sometimes bleed on my kids. So I wanted to make sure that I took care of the traumas in my heart, because I did not want them to keep showing up. Because sometimes they showed up as me being disciplinary-ish, or they showed up as me having this level of conditional love, and I didn't want that. So I try to do my best to be better so that I could be the best for them. And I think that's a place where all of us struggle. It's a place that where we are at times looking at our performance as parents and not necessarily looking at what we're doing to them. There was a term that I saw on social media that was called performance parenting, and it's giving yourself I won't even say accolades, but it's showing a particular place of being a good parent, and you're not asking yourself, am I becoming a better parent? And you have to know which one you are, because if you don't know, you can be a very dangerous parent. You have to know if you are a parent that is trying to get better, or if you are a parent who's just wanting to look better. There's a difference. There's a difference, because you have to know that you don't parent from what you know. You don't parent from what we know. We parent from who we are. And if you don't have the clear understanding of what kind of parent you are, you will absolutely parent from a damaged place. Now, what is your damaged place? Where are you as a parent? What is your child's experience of you? Often we have great intentions, and you will have great intentions as a parent, but you might not be the best example. One of the things that I struggled with in parenting is I noticed that I wanted to be more, I won't say aggressive. I wanted to be more responsible. I wanted to show up better. I wanted to be, someone who was always on time, who was more consistent. So when my sons would do things that was not befitting of a consistent man, I'd get so mad at them. But then I realized you get mad at them because you don't like when you're inconsistent. So you don't like inconsistency in them. But if you have not solved consistency in your life fully yet, they're teenagers, they're young, they haven't solved it yet. So what you getting mad for? So it's a place that you have to be as a parent to tell yourself, hey, you have to work from the place of really understanding what you are and who you are as a parent. You hope to be your best. You absolutely hope to be your best. But sometimes we don't know what's best. So what's your best? And you have to have somewhere to look, I tell people all the time, I would Frankenstein, this image of a father. I would Frankenstein what it is I thought it needed to be and what I thought I wanted. And, I love working through things that in the Bible. And one of the stories that we're going to talk through today is from Luke 15. The prodigal son. Now, it's like, oh, that's such a predictable thing because you're talking about parenting and, oh, here comes the prodigal son. But that's not who I want to really talk about today. I want to talk about the dad, right? Because the dad of the prodigal son is the dad there wasn't much to know about him other than how he felt about his boys, right? So I want to read it really quickly. We're going to talk about Luke 15, 18 through 19. And it says, I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went back to his father. Now, just to pause on this particular part, this is after he has asked his father for his inheritance, and his daddy gave it to him. His daddy gave him everything, all his inheritance, the money and all, and the word says that he went and he lived worldly and squandered it all. So he had to go live amongst the pigs. All right, bet. So then this is where we're picking up from, that he's in the pig pen wanting to fill his stomach on what the pigs were eating. But then he's like, yo, my father's servants eat better than this. So I need to go back to my daddy's house and ask him, just let me work for you because I know I blew the money. And you're probably not going to give it back. And so let's pick back up on verse 20 where he says, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. So here's the thing about that. It's an example of a good father, And the prodigal son's dad it's often talked about how he gave his son what he gave him, and there was no question on the forgiveness. There was no question on where he would stand even after his son blew it all. But then the question that I asked myself, I said, what did he teach his son that made him realize that he could come home? What was the character? What was the humility? What were the things that the dad taught him? Because yes, his father taught him it, but here's the thing. It wasn't fully evident in him in the beginning. Because if he taught him character, humility, and he taught him wealth, he taught him about those things, and he was like, yo, but give me my money so I can go. It's almost like, but yet he missed patience. And I don't even think that he actually missed anything, but part of the conversation that I was having with myself was that he gave him what he probably knew he couldn't handle. And even when he messed up, he came back and he didn't even let his son walk the whole entire way. He met him halfway, put his clothes on him, reoriented him with the family. It talks about he gave him a ring, he put a robe on him, and he was like, yo, get the biggest calf we got. My man's home. My boy's home. What if his father had dealt with trauma? What if his father said, I don't know. And I'm not even saying his father didn't. But I believe the prodigal father, or the prodigal son's father, realized that the most important thing is that he came back. Now, he done came back, spent the money, but he came back. And so now he doesn't have to eat from the pig pen. He is back where his father always meant for him to be. And that's the thing about being a parent who's aware. You have to be aware not only of who you are, but you got to be aware of who they need you to be. And they want to know that they can mess up and come back. They want to know that they can tear things up and then come back. You know, one of the things that I enjoy, my oldest son, he's getting so much older now, and you know, he's working through thoughts in his mind as a young man, and he asked me about like things. I mean, my son and I have talked about girls. We've talked about weed and drugs and all those kind of things, you know, and it is a desire of my heart for him to be able to talk to me about everything, anything that he wants to talk about, even the scary things. So I realized that I had to be okay with facing those things. So that's a good segue, because, you know, I do my best to give you progression points to just allow you to think through what you got to think through, letting you know where God could be in this thought process. And one of our progression points today is you can't lead what you won't face. You have to realize as a parent that whatever God exposes about you to you, you have to deal with and face, because you cannot lead what you won't face. They are your children. They are going to do the things that you do. They're going to see how you do things. So they're going to look and they're going to act and they're going to be like you. So you have to face those things and head them face on. And those are things you got to realize. So again, the progression point is that you can't lead what you won't face. The next one is your reaction reveals your formation. Your emotions often can be a place where your reactions are pulling from. So reactions are going to reveal your formation, your foundation. That's what I should have put, Jada. It's your reveals your foundation. I want to respond from a place of patience, love, and complete. And now some days I be scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some days I don't show up the best, so that if something comes up and one of my boys asks me a question, I at times have to check myself, because emotions come along. Your reactions, depending on how you feel. There's been days that I didn't have the best day at work, and I didn't have the best day, and they'd ask me a question and I would snap and I'd feel some kind of way. And I'm like, you see, they didn't deserve that. Where are you with your reactions, and how does your reactions reveal your formative thoughts and who you are as a person? And the last thing, this is going to be a little different, but this last thing is healthy parents raise whole children. Now, what that means is whole children are not perfect children. That's not what I'm saying. If I'm saying a whole child is a child that's not perfect, but a child that can remember. You see, the prodigal son, he wasn't perfect. He did many things wrong. He ended up in places that I'm sure his dad wouldn't have wanted him to be. But here's the thing. He remembered. He remembered. He remembered his heart towards his father. He remembered that his father treated servants well. That's a beautiful part, you know. My son said something to my wife the other day, where he, we'd given him his own room, and shout out to my little man. He's actually in the control room now. He'd given his mom and I gave him his own room, and the room was a place of was a nursery, and he has such a heart for his mom that he would ask his mom. He was asking his mom, like, you know, are you sure you're okay with this? Like, are you all right with this situation? And it touched his mama and it touched me too. You know, I cried a heartbeat. I cry all the time. But it was beautiful that his heart was for his mom, to know that I don't want to just want this so much to the point that it hurt you, to the point that he asked her about it. And I said to myself, I said, you know, I hope that his heart stays that way. And I'm going to do everything I can as a dad to make sure his heart stays that way. Because that's not something that will always, that's not something that will hurt him in the long run. It'll bless his life. He'll be a great dad because of that heart. And I see that heart in his little brother. And I asked myself, is that the heart I have? I hope it is. I was intentional. So I want you to think about, what are the things that you would love to see in your children? And make sure they see that in you. So that kind of takes us to our journal prompt, because I know it's not the easiest thing. This is pretty heavy. But I have one journal prompt. Today's journal prompt is, what behaviors in my child trigger me the most? And what do those reactions reveal about areas in me that still need healing, growth, and surrender to God? Now, I made this thing so long, but again, here it is. What behaviors in my child trigger me the most? And what do those reactions reveal about areas in me that still need healing, growth, and surrender to God? You know, beloved, as we wrap, there are going to be things as a parent that you're not always going to get right. But that's not the message, you see. The message is knowing that I didn't get it right. There are going to be times that you know that you want to do better and you might not be able to do it. There's going to be times that you want to be a better mom and see better in yourself so that they see better. But you see, it's the grace of a child. They'll look at you and know that you have messed up and still love you regardless. I think that's the great part, right? That's the cool part about what this means. Be aware as a parent. Know that God has you to do the best you can. And when you fall short, just know that you do. You see, that is one of the things about self-awareness that I don't play with. You know, because I've always told you all that this journey started off, the real depth of this journey started off from me becoming a parent. You don't have to be perfect. You're not meant to be perfect. You're just meant to know that you're not perfect. And therefore you try, you walk, You do everything you can to figure it out. Now understand, there's redemption for everybody. There's things that I didn't get right as a dad that I know I want to do better in, and I will do better. So as you continue to grow, as you continue to push, never forget that there'll come a point that you won't only see the bad things, but like I just talked to you earlier about my little man, sometimes they'll show you the good things about yourself. They'll show you the good things in your heart. They'll show you the good things. Let that be your goal. That's my prayer for you tonight. That the Lord will allow you to see, yes, where you have to improve, yes, where you have to do better. But also, let the Lord encourage your heart on what you can and what you have done well and what your children applaud you for. It hit different when they tell you thank you for something that you really tried to do and thought that you failed at, but they be like, nah, you killed that joint, all right. So can we pray about that tonight? Father, I'm honored that the opportunity to be able to just talk and have a conversation of the places, God, that we know that we have to heal and grow in, so we can help the little people that look at us grow. God, I thank you. I thank you for the gift of family. I thank you for the gift of fatherhood. I thank you for the gift of awareness in all of that. And God, we will tell you, God, thank you. As we continue to grow and push and understand who we are, God, let us always remember that you are there to be the good, good father as we are learning to be the parents, God, that we want to be and you called us to be. So again, Dad, thank you for being a good, good father. Thank you for being the father to us that at times we didn't know that we needed. Thank you for being the father to us, God, that we wanted but didn't know how to articulate. Cover the hearts, Lord. Cover the hearts, the ups and downs of the hearts. We know you can, and we know you will. So cover us, Lord. We thank you, Father. We thank you. And we ask these things in your Son, Jesus the Christ's name, we do pray. Amen. So, beloved, take tonight to make sure that we get to the journal place. Again, the journal tonight was, what behaviors in my child trigger me the most? And what are the reactions showing me about me? Listen, we love it. We love that you're here with us. Like, comment, share. Do your best to be a subscriber because we got some really cool things coming up. But we're honored to have you here. Honored to have you here. And I think we're at a good plethora of subscribers on YouTube. So thank you, Jada, for that reminder. It's been really great growing. So listen, again, take a look at our YouTube. We started doing some things on TikTok. So hopefully that's been pretty cool for some people. But anyway, thank you. We love you so much. This has been a heart-touching one for me. And I hope it's been that for you. But next week, I'm going to stop avoiding it, and we're going to start talking about the self-awareness in relationships. And we're going to do our best. I may even have the queen on here with me because, you know, she don't like to come out of the control room, but we might have to have her on here But we'll see. But I love you all. Nothing you can do about it. This is Redeemed Conversations with ARL. Have an amazing night. Take care of yourself. Later.